This is a deep and well-earned distrust around health issues in Black and brown communities, rooted in dismissed, delayed, and deprioritized. That history matters in this conversation, and it requires that this moment be handled with care, respect, and urgency. Our asks are clear. We are asking for all towers to be tested, not just the A and the B towers. And we are also standing behind current legislation from our elected officials that have been shared today, especially Senator Cordell Hill, who is in her office, who joined us at the initial meeting. We're asking for increased frequency of water testing, stronger prevention oversight, and immediate supports like shower hoses in affected buildings, so residents are not forced to choose between safely and easy hygiene. We are also asking, what is the oversight role of the health department to ensure residents are informed clearly and promptly, not after the fact, not with short notice. We are also calling on the new and mayoral administration to keep its promises, to fight for tenants, and to address systemic conditions that continue to harm Black and brown communities, especially when it comes to public health. Because let me be clear once again, clean water is a right, not a privilege. I have personally stood in my shower, 15 minutes into my shower, and have had brown water come out of my shower. I don't know if you know what it feels like to be drenched in brown water, but it is disgusting. And that should never happen, not in Harlem, not anywhere in New York City. Before I close, I want to thank the residents, because it took the residents for you all to be here, for the press to be here. It took the residents coming together every single night at 7 p.m., organizing, handing out flyers, demanding what is owed to us, transparency. I also want to thank the Harlem Legionnaires Task Force, who I'll be introducing very briefly, our community board, and of course all the elected officials who showed up here today. I want to say thank you. That does not go unnoticed. This is what it looks like when people come together and say our health matters. We will continue to fight, not just for this building, but for all of Harlem, because our community deserves safety, dignity, and care. Thank you. With that, I want to make sure I introduce.
Can you say and spell your name before you go?
Oh, Reverend Berhanet, H-E-A-V-E-N, Berhanet, B-E-R-H-A-N-E.
And Reverend, real quick, I'm so sorry, I know you guys have an agenda,
Yes.
but because you live in that tower that's
Yes, ma'am.
impacted, can you just tell us how you are feeling about your own personal health and safety and that of your family and your neighbors? How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to go to the meeting because I'm unemployed at this moment, so I was able to go to the meeting at 2 o'clock. But to be standing in a room full of scared, what at that time were seniors, Black and brown seniors and residents, who were not getting information, who were not getting clarity. And so to me, it was very frustrating the way that we found out this information on a Friday at 5 p.m. with notices on our door, which means you cannot, change your schedules to go, which means also asking the questions, do you want the residents to actually have the transparency and information? And for me, it's been frustrating because I've had to take cold showers in the middle of winter. And sometimes I've had to be like, you know what, I'm gonna have to just turn on my hot water right now because I don't have a choice at this moment in time. So it's created a sense of fear, frustration, and I know the health department used language and this is an inconvenience. It's not an inconvenience, it's about our livelihoods. And I need the language to match the seriousness of this issue. So I hope that answers your question. I'll have someone introduce Kim, who is here from the Harlem Legionnaires Task Force, who has been working diligently on this issue. Even though the health department has closed this issue, they are still working diligently to advocate for the Harlem community. And so I want to bring up a representative from Senator Cordell Pierce's office, who has been working to push legislation behind this issue, because we are saying once again that water is a right, not a privilege.
Here on behalf of Senator Cordell Pierce. The senator couldn't be here today because she is in Albany, and I want to emphasize that point because this issue of Legionnaires, as we've seen it come up time and time again throughout the summer, going into the fall, and now currently, though separate, is an issue that's going to require state coordination and local efforts. I first want to give a thank you to the tenants at 3333 Broadway for their diligent efforts and their organizing and their commitment to this issue. Thanks to the Harlem Task Force, S8487. This is the Legionnaires' Disease Awareness and Education Program, which would require that the state put out information and create guidance for our agencies and for our community when we see these instances come up. The second being S8499. This is the Legionnaires' Disease Prevention Act, and this is a bill to address source to tap water treatment. This will be increasing the requirements for water treatment, ensuring that we are doing everything possible to minimize Legionella in our water supply.
We don't know that.
And educating the community. This should also ensure that any fines that are in place through this bill will be funded, or funds rather, into the Legionnaires' Prevention Funds to help further these efforts. And the last
That's why
bill
I've been
I want to
buying,
do
because I won't drink.
is S8688. This is addressing timely notice of Legionnaires' investigations for tenants. The Senator introduced this bill in response to this very specific instance where we first got community notice about one tower having 2 cases of Legionella.
Right.
And then days after, almost a week after, being notified that this included 2 towers. This specific instance resulted in a lag and delay for hundreds of residents being notified that they should adhere to water restriction guidances, that they should take precaution, and that they should be sourcing replacements for the shower heads, changes in their behavior, and things of that nature. And it's up to us, it's up to the senators, it's up to our elected officials, our members, our council members, to bring all of this together and work with our agencies, with our building management, to make sure that we're delivering as much information as possible and that we're getting ahead of this rather than being responsive. Thank you.
We have Kim from the Legionnaires' Disease.
See me standing out here?
Good evening. My name is Kim Smith, founder of the Harlem Legionnaires Task Force. We're a community-led organization. We formulated August 23rd as a result of the community cluster of Legionnaires' Disease. And I must say, the way things are being rolled out with this instance, I love how all hands are on deck. The tenants have been absolutely amazing. All elected officials, community board members, and one of our mission statements is education. We talk about transparency, collaboration, accountability, but I want to speak a little bit about education. Once the building owners or property managers were notified about from the health department, or they were notified, it's a little sketchy regarding their rollout and their responsibility to notify the residents. So the residents were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. After the owners received notification from DOHMH, like they were not clear. And thankfully, Senator Claire, she has introduced new legislation to ensure that there is clarity, there is education. And when the buildings and the residents are notified, how does the owners and management really double down to say, hey, did you get those notices? Are you following the protocol? Because the notices had like about 8 bullets on how to deal with the water, that you can treat the water, how to take a bath, don't let the water run heavily. But I believe the owners and the property managers, they could have done a bit more due diligence, but I don't feel that it was intentionally done. This is something new for the residents, it's something new for the building owners. So how do we work in collaboration to extend olive branches to ensure that ultimately the residents are taken care of?
That wraps up our press conference. Do you have any questions? And we've also been joined by the Borough President's Office. Yeah. This is the Borough President's Office.
Hi everyone, I'm Esther. I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives in the Manhattan Borough President's Office. Brad is sorry he couldn't be here. He is also up in Albany. I just want to share on his and our office's behalf that we will be working diligently with the DOH and other community partners to make sure that the residents have everything that they need to get through this period, make sure that they have water, they have other resources that come with that. And we also need to be productive and proactive in ensuring that this does not continue to victimize our community of colors in Manhattan. This is a travesty. There needs to be preventative measures very, very closely with the DOH, our elected colleagues here at Esther Caroline.
I just have a question for the residents since you were there in the initial meeting. Can you explain what was, so the residents were told not to use hot water. Was the water, the hot water shut off in the building?
No, the water wasn't shut off. It was just this was just so sick. If you're starting to feel sick, to go get just automatically get tested because this is in particular for seniors and for folks that have underlying conditions. Heavily emphasized for them to be able to go get to make sure they got tested. But the hot water is still currently on. You were just informed by both management and the other that the advisory was for us to push out.
Until the, and I want to make sure I'm really clear on the timeline. So you guys were notified Friday, and the first meeting was when?
That Monday. So we got a notification on our doors that January 2nd, that Friday, and the meeting was that following Monday at 2 p.m.
And did they talk about the drinking water?
No, they didn't provide that. Once again, that was the issue. That's essentially why we're here. Is that there was no information, no packets, no nothing that was shared with us, no dates, no timelines. Honestly, Sean, probably Councilmember Abreu, probably shared more with us in this conversation regarding the timeline. And so because of that, we did push management to have another meeting tonight at 6:30 p.m. along with the health department to share those timelines. We're hoping to walk away with timelines, dates, and clarity and transparency. So yes.
And have you or anyone else in the building heard about the condition of the two people who contracted Legionnaires?
Well, we've spoken to one of them, but we do not share the information around.
They're not. I mean, are they improving? Are they critically ill?
Yeah, they are improving. They were hospitalized.
They were,
but
and they're no longer in the
longer
hospital. Okay, so that's good.
Yes.
Is it for this building or just all these buildings in the neighborhood?
Well, the issue is that the folks that were found were in Tower B.
In this building right here?
Yes, in this building right here, and we're asking for management to test all towers, not just the towers where the incidents where the residents were found to have water.
She has issues. We don't have any. We have all our water's been brown.
I don't know.
So at this point, anyone else has a question for us? All right, thank you guys. We wrapped up.
Thank you.